Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This just came through as the title. I don't know what the message is going to be yet, but the title is something like, this is the reason for your dream. So it's that dream that you've had since you were, I heard since birth, but it's something that maybe at a time you thought it was just something that you dreamed of or something you desired, but you didn't realize it's also part of who, it's like your destiny. It's part of who you are. So it's not optional. It was never optional. It was always destined for you in this timeline, in this lifetime. So let's see what the message is. Everything that's led you to this point, to this now moment, whenever you're watching this, was not an easy journey, and it was not clear either. There was a lot of confusion, a lot of not knowing. It's like on one hand you felt like you had to do it, like there was no other way or option for you, but at the same time you felt like it's impossible, or like this is just not working out. Shouldn't it be different? If this is what's meant to be, it should be easier, it should be different. So this path brought you to a place where you could no longer rely on anything physical. You couldn't rely on what you saw, what your senses perceived. You had to solely trust your intuition and the intuitive guidance that you were being given. So the journey first had to teach you how to do that, how to listen, how to focus more on that voice instead of all the other ones coming from the world. But you've since mastered that lesson. And like I said, it was not easy, it was heartbreaking, it was painful, because you were doing what so many people and so many generations before have spent their lives avoiding, like done everything to avoid having to face these things, having to go through these things. But the same way that it's a kind of initiation. So it's like who's ever willing to go through that, it's a choice, there's free will. But whoever makes that choice to go through that initiation, it's not just to suffer. Like the point isn't even suffering, that's just how you perceived it. But the point is what comes after, what it does to you, how it transforms you. So this is the part where you get, so this is what's going to help you know that this dream is meant to come true. And it's not just meant to come true, it's like it's chosen, because your free will has chosen this as well. So like there's nothing that could stop it or change it unless you decided not to. But as of now, it's both destined and you're agreeing to it. So there's no way it could not happen. And that's something you need to remember, that that's the foundation that it's built on. Other people may have gone about building their dreams a different way, or done it in a way of like trying to get the physical security or the material security. But the thing is, that's not something that can be guaranteed. So you want to put your trust into something that is guaranteed, which is your relationship with spirit, with God, with your intuition, with your own self. Like that is what separates people who are actually successful. Like they have some type of connection to something beyond what they can physically perceive, so that when they can't trust what they can perceive or it's confusing them, they can always go somewhere to find the truth. And you have that, but there's some reason why that needed to come up. So that's connected to your dream, because it's going to require you to be so in tune with your intuition that you don't even need to check it. It's just automatic. It's what you automatically go by. And it's like you don't even have to think about it. It's on autopilot. That's how you're meant to navigate this dream. That's why there's so many parts of it that feel unknown or uncertain, or like, how would this happen? How, I don't even know about this. I'm not even this, so how could this be? Like all these things in your mind. You're right, from a logical standpoint, from a worldly standpoint, that's all valid. But that's not the path that you're on. That's not the way that you get there. You're doing it the other way. Okay, so part of this dream has to do with spirit speaking through you. So it's something that you're meant to express, create, be part of, discover, anything like that. That it's spirit using you, not using you because that sounds bad, but you and spirit working together so that you can be the vessel for something, to be the bridge between bringing it from the spirit into the physical for other people who aren't able to perceive it like you can. You're working with spirit. That's your partner, that's your manager, that's your agent, that's your everything. That's who you're working with. And so you are not going to have to go by the rules of people. And you're not going to have to go by the rules that other people have gone by, because they were at the mercy of people and things in the physical. So they had to do whatever was required of them. But because there are no conditions when you work with spirit, you're perfect just as you are. You don't need to change anything or do anything extra. It's just an inner knowing that you have that connection, and that's all it takes, is just to know and accept that. It never asks anything from you. So that's why you're going to move in ways that seem impossible, and from a logical standpoint are impossible. People may believe it's a miracle, may not understand it, may believe it's dark witchcraft, may believe, like, whatever they want to believe, whatever their mind goes to, their mind that's not open enough to be able to perceive this. Wherever their mind goes to, that's their business. But the point is, it's not gonna, but the people who will understand and will believe it for what it is are the people who've experienced it to themselves. Like, there are others, you just aren't as aware of them because it's not common, but there are others who understand and who are on their own kind of journey that mirrors yours. And in time, you're going to be brought together with more of these people so you can collaborate. So it's like, first you had to do your individual journeys, but once you graduate from that, then you're going to be able to collaborate together. And that could be starting soon, or it just has started for you. Maybe you can feel that, or you sense that, or you're starting to attract just random people in your day-to-day life that seem to match you or match who you are now better. And okay, let's see what else. So for this message, what else wants to come out? You've been guided to this your whole life, and there's even been things that you have no idea how it would have been related, but when it all comes together, you'll look back and be like, oh, that's why that happened. And that one random thing that I'm like, why am I experiencing? What's the point of this? Like, not even bad things specifically, just things that felt like so unrelated to anything you cared about, or like you couldn't understand the point or the lesson in it. It didn't make sense to you. Anything like that, you're going to be realizing how it all was leading to one point, and how all the pieces come together, and how the desires you've had, maybe the desires you've had have also felt separate from each other. Like, maybe you want to do this, but you also want to do this, and you also want to be this and try this, and they seem unrelated, but there's a reason why you're interested in all those things. I'll give an example. Let's say you were always drawn to learning a certain language, and you didn't know why, because it didn't seem to be related to what you wanted to do, or that it could help that in any way. And then, so you learn the language, or maybe it wasn't even something you wanted to do. Maybe you were put in a situation where you were like, you didn't have a choice, but you had to learn this, and you're like, why? This feels dumb, I'm wasting my time. Not that anyone would think that about learning a language, but that was just the first example that came to me. So anyway, you have this skill now that feels like unrelated to anything you want to do or be. And then let's say a job offer comes up and they're looking specifically for someone who has that skill. And you're like, that is so random. That would never have occurred to me that those would go together. That's just an example, but it could be on a larger scale for you too. But it's just saying that everything, you're going to start to see how when you asked for something, when you said, this is what I want, this is what I hope for, when you had that desire in your heart, it was already set in motion from the moment you desired it. And it was always leading you on the journey to be able to get it, to be able to become a match to it, so you could actually have it in your physical reality. Maybe seeing how you were always being told yes. It was never no, even when you thought it was no, even when you thought it was no, you have to do this instead. All the pieces were leading you, like they were all necessary. All the, what's the opposite of a shortcut? Like this, whenever you took the long way, it was always actually leading you, like everything you would find on that longer way was something you actually needed. So that if you would have taken the shortcut, you would have got to where you needed to be, but you wouldn't have had the skills and the knowledge and the tools to be able to do it in that moment. So that's why it all had to be the way it did. And you're going to start realizing that and see that truly everything is always working out for you. Everything is conspiring in your favor at all times. And maybe that's a type of affirmation you like to say or believe, but you're going to be understanding it on such a deep level. Like you're going to be like, I get it now. I really understand. So I feel like that's the majority of this message, but just in case, let's see if anything else wants to come out. Okay, and then anything from here? Okay, so Queen of Cups, Four of Pentacles, Seven of Wands. This is a really special time for you because the people who are drawn to this message are people who have a sensitive, soft spirit, but you haven't been able to be sensitive and soft in so long because your life put you in survival mode. And so you had to create this shell or become this person that was a much harder version of who you really were. And it didn't feel good to live as that person because obviously you weren't living as your true self. So this next chapter, this part of life that you've just stepped into, requires you now to be this and to be your true nature. So you're learning how to be what you always were. You're unlearning how to be defensive and feel like you always have to watch your back. You're shedding that, and what's emerging is the truth of who you've always been, which is a kind, sweet, sensitive person who doesn't want to have to be hard, doesn't want to have to be a warrior and fight, but doesn't ever want to have to get to that point. You don't want to have to fight for what you want or fight for what you need. You don't feel like it should have to be a battle just to get something. Like that's not the life you want. You want a life of ease and of comfort, and there's been so much shame around that. Like that's a bad thing to want for some reason, when who wouldn't want that? And it's not a sin or lazy or any other thing to want that, because that's a perfectly normal desire for any human to have, for any being to have, to want a comfortable, easy life that doesn't, and it doesn't mean like you don't want to ever have challenges. Maybe you don't, but you don't want everything to feel so hard like it always has been your whole life. So it's not anymore. That part is ending. And the process that you're in right now is you recognizing that and accepting it and being like, okay, I am safe. I can let my guard down. And just reminding yourself that over and over until your nervous system finally accepts it, and being patient with yourself until you get to that point. So that's all I'm getting for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.